Welcome, everyone. This is the first episode of the Interested in Everything podcast. Today, we're going to be talking with Austin Barton. He's been a close friend of mine for a very long time now. He's a really good dude. So, I hope you enjoy. Thanks for listening. All right. We're here with Austin Barton. He is currently an RA at Mizzou, which I just learned about.
Yeah.
Okay, what's it like being an RA?
Um, it's different, that's for sure. So I started my first semester here at Mizzou. I was a resident in the same hall that I'm now an RA for. And so, I made a lot of friends the first semester, which kind of like made it difficult for me to transition into like an authority role because,
Yeah,
I'm now having to discipline the students that are I was once friends with. So that's
yeah,
definitely different, but it's okay. I try to just be as fair as possible, and the biggest thing is like masks, right? Like I don't
yeah,
know, we're a
100%.
big state school, so a lot of people just don't care. Can I swear, by the way? Is that a thing?
Yeah, go for
Okay, yeah. So
it.
they just don't give a fuck, honestly. Like they don't
Yeah.
care about um just the regulations and rules that have been put in place. So
Hmm.
that's pretty much the biggest challenge is trying to enforce those things,
Hmm.
just from a university standpoint. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, it's fun though. It's
definitely.
got its perks.
Yeah, and I don't know, it's kind of weird because like for me, it's like um, we all kind of see the RAs as like stuck up and like
Yeah,
I don't know, just like kind of annoying and like nitpicky and just. But I know you, and you're not like that at all.
yeah.
So like,
There's definitely
is it
there's
like
definitely
super
bad
hard for you
apples.
to? Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
Um, yeah, I think that's very true. Because like my last RA, so I've had two RAs now. So my first one got kicked out um, for some reason. She got into like an argument with it was something political. I don't know.
oh wow.
And now I have a new one, and I haven't even met him. So it's like
Yeah,
neither of my RAs. Like I really like. I never really met them. It's like
yeah.
they never really came by, and it's like I don't know. I'm in like a separate wing, so like an RA doesn't live like in my hall, which is kind of nice.
Yeah. No,
Um,
there's definitely like some RAs that'll. I mean, I think this is kind of true for every campus, but there's definitely those
mhm.
that like go out of their way to kind of make life harder.
Yeah,
I was never one of those people. I never really,
yeah,
I don't condone RAs that feel that that's necessary. Like our job is
hmm,
to basically enhance the life of a student, right?
yeah,
So, we're there to if they're feeling lonely, we can put programming in place to make them more feel more connected to
yeah,
the
yeah,
other
yeah,
residents. But there's definitely people that like go out of their way to just be absolute dicks, and
yeah,
I've never been that kind of person, especially because I've lived on both sides, right? Because
yeah.
I lived in the same building that I'm also an RA for. So
Oh God.
yeah, I definitely try to like I try not to I try to be like objective when I look at everything and
Hmm.
try to give people the benefit of the doubt. Like,
Yeah,
there are some people that like I don't necessarily know that they don't because we're not allowed to have visitors. That's another big policy.
yeah. Same here.
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
there's some people that like I may look at them and be like, I've never seen your face before, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to ask if you live in Gillette. Like
Yeah.
my job is to respond to incidents, but I'm not here to like personally like condone or try to harass students. Like my job is
Hmm.
to solely benefit them, make sure everyone's following the rules.
Yeah.
Like if you're not wearing a mask or something, I'm gonna talk to you, say, hey, can you get a mask on? But I'm not gonna go out of my way to make a life difficult, right?
Yeah.
That's not what we're here for. So
Yeah. Exactly.
yeah,
And I'm sure it's hard because like I don't know. It's like I kind of understand. Like I get where the RAs are coming from. Like I mean I've like gotten in trouble for just like stupid stuff like having my mask like pulled down a little bit or
yeah,
like
yeah,
just I don't know like being a little too loud or like just little things that didn't really like matter that much.
yeah,
Um, and it's like I don't know. I always feel bad for the RAs because like you can tell that they don't want to be doing it,
yeah,
but they have to, and it's like they're
yeah.
being like I don't know.
it's definitely like you definitely don't look at someone that's doing something wrong and be like, oh, I want to write this person up. Like
Yeah.
you don't see it from that perspective. Like I don't think there is a single RA on our staff that is like kind of like likes writing people up. Like it's pretty much the worst part of
Yeah.
the job. I'd say like the best part would be getting to know your residents and like having actual
Hmm.
friendships. Like that's really really cool. Like
Yeah, that's cool.
there's a couple of residents on my floor that are like super like they're just super really interesting people and we share the same
Yeah.
major and so that's really like the connection that you're looking for. You know, you're not really
Yeah.
you don't want to look at your residents like with malice or poor intent. You know, it's more
Yeah.
from a better perspective and trying to
Hmm.
lift them up as opposed to bringing them down.
Yeah. But then again, from their perspective, you're like an authoritarian figure.
That's
So is
true.
it
Yeah.
hard for them to like,
Yeah.
I don't
A
know,
lot of
like let loose with you? You
yeah,
know what I mean? It's like,
it's it's definitely a barrier. I think like
hmm.
people it's kind of like I don't know, I get this is, kind of political, but I get this way like when I'm around cops, like, everyone
Uh-huh.
has that thing same idea like when they're around like police officers or just like
Yeah.
an authoritative figure in general, like you kind of get uneasy and
Uh-huh.
you're not doing something wrong, but you're looking internally to see if you are doing something wrong
Yeah.
even if
Yeah.
you're not, period.
Hmm.
And so
Like,
it is hard. It's hard to break that barrier down. Yeah.
yeah. Like kind of going off what you said about like you always feel like you're doing something wrong. I remember like do you remember Gabby Hinojos?
Yeah, yeah.
She whenever we would like drive in the car together and we'd go by a cop, she would turn down the music. She'd be like, the music's too loud, we gotta turn it down.
Yeah.
Like it like that doesn't matter. The cop doesn't care if your music's
Yeah.
loud. But it's just like that little thing in your head where it's like, oh, I'm doing this wrong. Like
Yeah.
I gotta change it. Like the cop's gonna bust me, he's gonna get me.
Yeah, I used to feel that way like oh my like even when cops would like so like mall cops and stuff when they would come out
Yeah.
and like just be around, I'd feel like I was like doing something wrong or getting nervous. That's kind of gotten better as I've gotten older and I've talked to more
Hmm.
police officers and you know,
Yeah.
I think like because we were in the car scene for a while and
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
whole idea of like cops and just being around, but it didn't necessarily mean that you were doing something wrong, right?
Yeah.
They were
No,
more just
I know what you
interested.
mean.
And
Yeah.
so as I kind of like matured and got older, that feeling has kind of gone away, if that makes
Hmm.
sense. But yeah, it's definitely like it's the same idea. And when you're trying to like discuss stuff with residents and talk, like they're very hesitant to like mention anything, period,
Hmm.
because they think that if they say
Yeah.
something wrong or the wrong thing, it's going to get them in trouble. And I'm like,
Hmm.
that's it's not the case. I mean, everyone goes to college, everyone drinks, everyone does something like of like in college, right? Like
Yeah.
so
Uh-huh.
it's not like if you say something we're going to be able to like crack down on you and punish you.
Yeah.
It's more like no, like we're just regular people, just follow the rules, don't be too loud, don't do dumb stuff and we're going
Yeah.
to get along fine. So,
Nice. Yeah.
yeah.
So what are your like top tips for people looking to like get away with stuff in the dorms?
Oh
Get away
god.
with a little partying. Like, you know
Um
what I mean?
I think the biggest thing that I see is like people have no idea how loud they actually are.
Okay.
Like that is the number one straight ticket to like getting a referral is
Uh-huh.
literally just being loud. You like you'd be surprised the amount of things that you can get away with like coming from a resident perspective if you
Hmm.
just don't make a lot of noise. Like
Okay.
that is the number one thing is and like I've had incidents like where people will just like have like a boom box in their in their room and they're just blaring it like as loud as they possibly can, and that's just really like not smart. um
Yeah.
it's not smart to go about trying to shake the entire walls at like 2
Yeah,
a.m.
honestly.
And that's another thing too, like we have like set quiet hours, right? So
Hmm.
we can't be loud like from the time between 11 p.m. to you know I think it's like 7 a.m. Like
Yeah.
you can't make a certain amount of noise. And like it's funny because that's when people will be the loudest. Like that's when they'll turn their music up like max volume right then.
Yeah.
And we're just kind of like, you really you shouldn't do that. Like that's not smart. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think not really a tip, but just like people don't realize how like loud they are, and that's probably the
Okay.
biggest thing that gets them in trouble is just the noise. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of people. I mean, there's I think in the one I in my dorm there's like 340 or 360 like residents, and
Yeah. That's a
like
lot.
noise travels,
Yeah.
and some people are like, yeah, please don't make a lot of noise. So that's the
Yeah.
biggest thing
Do you ever get
probably.
like complaints from other students?
Yeah. I mean, we have on-call shifts. Like,
Hmm.
so I'm probably on call like once every 2 weeks or so.
Yeah.
And then like that's the person on call will typically like have complaints. So we have like an on-call number, and every dorm has one of these. So the RAs
Hmm.
basically take a shift on call, and if there is a complaint, after like a certain time in the evening, you're supposed to call the RA on call number, and then that RA will address the complaint. You
Yeah.
can also go to like the hall coordinator, who is a level above the RAs, and like there's a designated person who's in charge, who's like an actual adult, and they've
Mhm.
graduated. Like they're in charge of the hall,
Yeah.
and so those are like the next line. You can submit a formal complaint to them, but people are usually like pretty forgiving. I don't want to say, we are college students,
Hmm.
so like a lot of times I've seen people like write notes to each other like, "Hey, can you please like stop banging on the floor?" Like that's
Yeah.
typically the first line of like resolution of conflict
Uh-huh.
resolution is, they'll just like write a note and stick it on the resident below them or above them door, like,
Yeah.
"Please stop dribbling the ball at like 4 a.m." Like, please. Like
Um,
that's the main thing.
yeah, not I've like it's snowing here. There's a bunch of salt in the road, so I've been like skateboarding in my room.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Yeah,
So I'm
that'll
just
do
like
it.
slamming on the ground so
Yeah.
often.
We we actually just got like 4 inches of snow. It's like,
Really?
yeah, it's a solid 6 degrees here right now. So
Wow.
yeah, that's a
Dude,
big
it's
thing.
colder there than here.
Yeah, it's freezing
Yeah.
here.
So for everyone who's listening that doesn't know, Austin goes to Mizzou, and then I go to Syracuse.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
And we both come from Texas, so it's quite
yeah.
the
We
quite the climate shift.
actually, I want to hear your perspective of how we met. I feel like that'd be
Oh,
interesting.
well, I think because oh God, that's difficult. Well, I pretty much met
um,
all
yeah,
my friends through my ex, and then like I guess from there it kind of evolved differently because we originally hated each other,
yeah.
or I hated you. Let me rephrase.
I didn't like you either.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna
we
be
pretty
completely
much
honest.
we pretty much started out hating each other, and then as we went through high school, we kind of like got closer, and I think that's probably like the one thing that like really is like different and unique about our whole friend group throughout high school is that like
Yeah.
we had people come and we had people go, but like
Hmm.
we were always like friends. Like we were
Yeah.
always mutually
Exactly.
friends with each other.
Yeah.
So I think
It
that
was
was like,
like there was that solid like middle core group of
yeah, yeah,
like that always stuck together.
yeah. But even
Yeah.
even the people that like left and then came back, or
Hmm.
are like people that were kind of distant. I mean, I never had like a problem with anybody really.
Yeah.
So that was nice. But yeah,
Um,
I think we met in seventh or eighth grade. I forgot, and then
yeah. No, I think it was seventh.
it was seventh grade, and then
Like
I met
around, yeah.
Sydney and all them, and
Um, yeah.
yeah, that was some
Yeah.
good times. But we
Yeah.
initially
Well,
hated each other, and then when we got to high school, I think we finally got over it. So
yeah.
yeah,
And then yeah. And then we had a lot of good times in high school.
a lot of good times. Yeah,
Yeah. And
I think
then
I
for
think like
sure.
it's been really different too because I've made friends in like college, so I've got college
Mhm.
friends, and then it's like it's weird when you transition over from like this high school state to college state.
Yeah,
Like
I was just about to say that.
the
Yeah.
type of friendships that I have here are like worlds different from the ones in high school. Like it's
Huh.
so bizarre. Because
Yeah.
I've always been a person that's been like really, like, I'm fine with talking to people. I'm fine with like
Hmm.
going and making like friendships, but I always
Yeah.
like stuck with like the core people in high school, and like I always had like that pack of people. And
Mhm.
I think it's because it's such a smaller population, right? Because there were
Yeah,
like three
definitely.
3,200 students at our high school, and
Yeah.
like and here there's like 30,000 undergraduate students,
Yeah.
right?
I
So
mean, even for us, like coming from a big school, it's still a huge change.
yeah, it's like you
Like,
definitely don't have like I mean, there are cliques, but not as much, not nearly
No,
as
not at
much as high
all.
school. Yeah,
No,
I mean, it's
it's just
so
like it's cool. It's like like just a melting pot of a bunch of different types of people.
yeah, and there's a
Um,
lot less. Like I've noticed, like there's a lot less judge. Like I don't want to say judgment in college, but everyone's more like accepting, right? Like
yeah, they
in high
are.
school, like if you had something that was like, oh no, you're weird, or you play
Yeah.
sports, so you're in the sports, or but
Um,
like in college, like nobody fucking cares. It's like
no, no one cares.
everyone is so friendly and like really
Yeah,
really
it's nice.
yeah. That's one of the reasons I like Mizzou too. It's just because it's so easy to meet people and talk to people.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
mean that's how Syracuse would be with all the COVID restrictions. It makes it
Yeah.
really hard
Yeah.
to,
Yeah,
because
what are
it's
y'all
like,
guys' COVID restrictions up there?
so we aren't allowed. It's not crazy, but being like winter and super cold and like
Yeah.
being in a city, it kind of sucks because there's not a ton to do like on
Yeah.
campus. So
Yeah.
normally kids would like go into the city. Well, like the city's closed
Yeah. Yeah.
because Syracuse sits like right on the edge of a city.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then for like the restrictions, we can't like go into other dorms. We can only have 4 people in like a dorm room,
Yeah.
like at once. Mask has to be on at all times if you're outside of your dorm. Like even if you're outside, like um, yeah, all the dining halls close early.
How much of that is like enforced though? Like do you guys have
It's um mm, some of it's enforced.
yeah.
So the four, like what you were saying about the noise,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take to heart because a lot of times you don't just have like 4 people in a room.
Right, yeah.
So like normally we would just stay quiet and no one really cares.
Yeah.
But like one night we had like 8 people in a room, which like is more than 4.
Yeah, yeah.
And like we had the music up like a tiny bit too loud, and like I knew it but didn't say anything.
Yeah.
And then an RA knocks on the door. Well, I jump in a closet, so like I'm not gonna get caught.
Yeah.
And then so does one of my other friends. And then the RA comes in and he's like, "Hey, like, what are you guys doing?" And we were playing Pong, but with water.
Yeah.
So he was like, "Is it a Pong table? Like, you get in trouble for that.
Oh my
Like
god.
that's beer paraphernalia. Like
Beer
I
paraphernalia.
can write you up for that." And we're like, "Dude, there's water in it." And he's like, "Yeah, red Solo cups and a table. Yeah, that's beer paraphernalia." And I'm
Uh,
like, and I'm just in the closet like doing a wall sit because like he
yeah.
has this like laundry basket under me.
Yeah,
Um,
when I was a resident, we had a birthday party, and I think probably the craziest place that I've ever hid is I got between like the bed and the wall, and like but the
yeah.
bed was elevated, so I was like I had one hand on the ground and I was like
Oh my
I
god.
was like horizontal to the ground, and I
Yeah.
was just sandwiched in between the bed frame and the
Oh,
wall.
that's so funny.
Yeah, that was probably like the worst experience that I've had. But I also didn't know
Yeah.
you could get in trouble for beer paraphernalia. That's a
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
I didn't
And
think that
like
was an
we aren't allowed to
actual.
have like toasters and like
Yeah. Well, we can have toasters. We can't have like no, we can have air fryers too, I think. I just don't think we.
really?
Yeah, we can't have like grills. We can't have electric grills and stuff.
Oh,
But
yeah, we aren't even allowed to have toasters.
yeah, we also can't have space
But
heaters,
like
which really
coffee
sucks.
pots, candles, like nothing.
Can't have coffee pots.
Not like we can't have like wait, no,
There-
like a hot plate, sorry.
Oh, hot plate. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, I think we can have hot plates. I was gonna actually get a kettle, but I ended up just getting a Keurig that can also do hot
Oh
water.
yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
that was my fix for that. But
Yeah.
yeah,
That's what I have here. It's really nice.
yeah, because
Uh,
I'm big fan of ramen over here, so that's the only way
yeah.
I can heat it up.
Yeah.
But
Man, I didn't even think about that. I could use that hot water for a bunch of stuff.
yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's because I get coffee and I just get like the little cups of ramen, and then
Yeah.
I'll put hot water in it and let it sit for a little bit.
Someone should make like K cups, but with like ramen seasoning.
Oh God, just a
So
cup of
then you can just
ramen
like put
broth.
your ramen underneath, and then like all the seasoning.
All the
Just...
seasoning goes. Yeah. I think there was a thing I saw where someone was selling hot dog water K cups, so you could
Oh
like it
God.
was just like like hot dog salt, and it would go through and
Oh
just boil the water,
jeez.
so like you could drink boiling hot dog water. I thought that was funny.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
think it's different here. Like you're talking about the nightlife and stuff, because in
Yeah.
Missouri's like a big state school. I mean, like we've got like
Hmm.
it's like I mean,
I
good for
mean,
state type beat kind of
yeah,
thing. So
exactly. All the state schools are crazy.
yeah, so like we still have restrictions, and I definitely think it's like on campus, and it actually got so bad because like our downtown life is like super huge. Like we've got
Yeah.
tons of bars and tons of just like lounges. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like places you can go and sit basically.
Yeah.
So initially like the city of Columbia in spring semester of last year like released a mandate that all bars, like any place that serves alcohol
Yeah.
or has like gathering spots, had to close by 10:30.
Yeah. That's how it is here too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that pretty much like it didn't kill the nightlife, but it was like it was such a weird culture shift because
Yeah.
you're used to like okay, you'd go and hang out for a little bit and then you'd leave for like the nightlife at like 9, right? Or like 9 or 10.
Uh-huh.
Well, now you had people leaving at like 4 and 5,
Yeah.
and the bars would start closing at 9. And so like
Yeah.
it was so weird cuz
And then
like
you're blacked out by 9:30.
yeah, you're just like there were people that would like come back onto campus and they would be just like plastered, and it's like 8 o'clock and the sun is still up, and
Yeah.
it was so funny how like that kind of shifted the culture and stuff started happening so much earlier. Well, two
Yeah.
weeks ago the city of Columbia just decided to lift that to 12.
Oh,
And
that's
so yeah, I mean like all the bars are like, dude, they like doubled their seating and everything, and
yeah, I'm
they've got like
sure.
so they're ready for it. I think it goes into effect next week, but
Nice.
it's definitely gonna be like a big everyone's gonna start going back out at like 9 o'clock and finally have
Yeah.
like an actual bar scene. So it's so funny how that works though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because like it sounds like it's pretty similar to here, except like they aren't lifting any restrictions.
Yeah.
Um, but like last night, like so they're everyone's trying to like rush right now, right?
Oh yeah, for spring. Yeah.
Yeah, so like one of the frats had a party last night that got busted, or there were like a string of parties, and like the school sent out an email just being like, hey, like you aren't allowed to have these parties, like you're
Yeah.
exceeding like the New York state limit of 10 people outside of your
10,
household or
10
whatever.
people.
Yeah, 10
Yikes.
people.
Ugh.
It's like, how are you supposed to do rush whenever you can't even
Yeah.
like
So
meet anyone?
I
And it's
joined,
like,
so I'm in a fraternity, and
yeah.
and like all of my, because I rushed fall like last semester,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
it was all online. Like we could not do
So they didn't
anything.
let you have parties or anything like that either?
I mean, no, like we could do like we had one thing we went to where like we did a brotherhood event like among our pledge
Uh-huh.
class, but
Okay.
no, like
So like
but
how
I
many kids is that?
it was 15, and we had to
Oh,
like
okay. So that's not
yeah, it
terrible.
was pretty small like towards the end,
Yeah.
but it wasn't bad at all. And the fall numbers were a lot smaller than they are typically just because of
Uh-huh.
COVID. A lot of people didn't want to join or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was super fun, but also too like it was weird because I did formal recruitment through IFC, and anybody who's joined a frat has knows what that is. But basically like we just had to sit on a Zoom for like a week, or I think it was 4 days, and we had to go through all the frats,
Whoa.
and it was like so we had 15-minute rounds and then a 5-minute
Uh-huh.
break, and then we had another 15-minute round, and we just kept doing that for like 4 days, and it was like, oh
Oh
my
my
god,
God.
it sucked so bad. But in the end,
Jeez.
they tried their best, and that's what matters. But it's so funny
That's
because
crazy.
it's almost like ignorance is bliss, because like
Yeah.
I don't know what it was like in person, like
Uh-huh.
because so Mizzou founded homecoming, right? Where like
Mm-hmm.
Mizzou is the first school to ever have like homecoming, like the
Yeah.
official. And so our homecoming this year basically got canceled. Like
Yeah.
we didn't have a parade, we didn't have all that stuff. And
Uh-huh.
like I have so many like juniors and seniors that I'm friends with, and they're like, dude, like you have no absolute any idea like what you're missing. Like I can't even be
Yeah,
sad just because I never experienced it. But
yeah,
man, it's just such a
um,
different atmosphere.
yeah, yeah. I mean, but it's weird because it like this feels normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
right.
it's
Yeah.
like we don't like we're going like we're both freshmen. It's like this is our first year at college. It's like all of this just feels like very normal. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, no,
Um,
it's so bizarre, especially because like our senior year got canceled too. So like,
yeah,
I have never been to a prom, like
yeah,
I never got to go to a prom and
yeah,
like get to experience that. And sure, I've been to homecomings and stuff, but like it's so different how like I almost feel bad for the like for sophomore, not even sophomores, but more like juniors and seniors and maybe some
yeah,
sophomores who actually got to do it. Like they actually got to do
yeah,
formals and they got to do recruitment and they got to do, homecoming and
yeah,
Greek week and all that stuff. And I just kind of look at it, I'm like, wow, like we're never gonna get to be able to experience that stuff. Well, we
yeah.
will eventually, hopefully, but it's hopefully,
I mean, not
hopefully.
prom.
Yeah, not prom.
I
Prom's a pretty
mean,
much trip, and it's so
we
it
crash
sucks
a
too.
prom.
That's true.
Yeah,
I mean, like we waited. I don't know. Like we went through 12 years of school, and every like prom is like your last like graduating event,
yeah,
before graduation. Really glad we got to at least have a graduation. That would have sucked.
yeah. I
That
think
was nice.
graduation kind of made up for it
Yeah,
all.
yeah,
I don't know. It was like because like I kind of expected that we wouldn't have a prom after a while. So like that kind of was like sitting well with me, and I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Like it is what it
yeah,
is.
yeah,
Um, and it was almost like I don't know. It just kind of like came and went, and like I was like, oh yeah, like prom should have been like today,
yeah,
and it just like it just like didn't really matter. It was
yeah.
weird.
I
Um,
remember waking up the day of graduation, and I thought that like we weren't actually graduating, just because.
mhm.
Well, like one, we hadn't been to school since spring break, right?
Yeah.
And then two, it just like it was such a mundane like activity that it just felt so weird because in
Hmm.
my mind I had already accepted that like we weren't gonna have graduation, we weren't gonna have prom, we
Yeah.
weren't gonna have like any of the things that initially were they said yeah we're gonna try our best to have it, and then like a week
Hmm.
before prom they were like hey guys just kidding, we're not actually doing prom. And
Yeah.
so I was like oh okay, so I guess that's it's gonna be the same thing for graduation. But
Yeah.
it was still really nice to see everybody
Yeah.
before we all kind of parted ways. So
Yeah. That moment, like before we all went into the, so like we had our prom or we had a graduation at the Texas Rangers Stadium. So
yeah,
we were like some of the first people to get to like go inside it, which was
yeah, it was
really really
brand
cool.
spanking new. Yeah,
Yeah, like they hadn't even played a game there yet or
yeah,
anything.
yeah,
But yeah, there was like this really cool moment where like everyone's like getting out of their cars, like in their cap and gowns, and they're walking over to this like area where all the students are. And it's like you're seeing these kids that you haven't seen in like what, like 4 months at that point?
yeah, yeah. It was
Like
weird.
4 or 5 months that you've known for like 12 years. I mean, because you were, we went to the same elementary school, right?
Yeah, I went to
Yeah.
kindergarten there.
Like
So yeah,
it's this whole group of kids that's like grown up together.
yeah,
And it's like, I don't know, it's crazy because it's like whenever COVID hit and we had to go into quarantine, it's like you realize how much you miss just those weird little interactions with all
yeah,
those different people that you just like know, like you aren't necessarily friends with them or whatever.
yeah. It, it,
And
it was
then
so
you got to
crazy
like see
because
them again. So it was awesome.
yeah, I
Yeah.
I miss the most like mundane day. So there were days like that I just did not want to go to school. Like
Yeah.
I wanted to skip. I wanted to do all this, and especially towards like junior year, I was just like, dude, I just don't want to go. And like I would go throughout the entire day with just like AirPods in my ears, and I would just like block out the entire world.
Yeah.
And even those days, like once we got out of that, like once spring break hit and we never ended up going back to school, like it
Hmm.
was just the hardest thing that like I didn't
Yeah.
capitalize on those days, and I missed those moments. Like even where
Yeah.
I hated it and I didn't want to go to school, I was like, wow, I would give anything to be in school right now. And just like
Yeah.
even crap, like even if I was having a crappy day, like just to be in the hallways would be great.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of how it was, like here for me a couple of days ago. Because now, like I have like a decent amount of in-person classes, right?
Yeah.
But last semester I didn't. So like on Monday I had my first like class. So I
Yeah.
like walked to my class, and it's awesome because now I'm seeing like all these kids that I like hadn't seen because I'd just been up in my dorms doing online class this whole time.
Yeah.
So now
Yeah.
I'm like
No.
actually walking to class, and other kids are walking to class. You're like seeing people, and it's just crazy after being like isolated for the last year or whatever.
Yeah, I agree totally.
To
Yeah.
go back to that,
I I
yeah,
I think it was like so last semester I had one in-person class that was optional. So
yeah,
I started going for like the first week and then I went for the second week and then like the third week I ended up going basically everyone had moved online. Like you could go in class like you didn't have to. And
yeah,
it was really far away so everybody just ended up like basically going doing it online and not going
yeah.
into in person. And so
Uh-huh.
I was like, you know what, fine, I'll start doing that. So the third week, like I initially started doing those classes online. It was econ, by the way.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
so I started doing economics online, and I mean that entire week, like I had left my dorm maybe like 3 times. Like,
Yeah,
because we have like dining halls connected to our dorm, like
yeah.
especially this
Same
one.
here. Yeah,
So I mean, it was just like I would get up 7 a.m., go to work on my laptop, and then I would do classes. I would get lunch, I'd get dinner,
yeah.
and then I would go to bed. And like
Mhm.
it was like that for like 2 weeks.
Uh-huh.
And I basically said like I can't do this anymore. Like I'm gonna go crazy. And so
Yeah.
from then on, I started making a goal to like go outside and go for a walk and go sit at like a table and do
Yeah.
schoolwork. And but yeah, I definitely miss like seeing a face, like and
Yeah.
talking to a professor. It was hard.
Yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, like just interacting with professors is weird because both you and me, we've always been like close with our teachers.
Yeah,
It's like we've all I don't know. It's weird. It's like we've always just like enjoyed having like friendships with our teachers, I'd say,
yeah,
because like you and Miss Lynch were like very close,
yeah. I
and
was
then
friends
I
with.
was like Miss Pickrell, and then like Miss Hafley, like a bunch
Yeah,
of
yeah.
teachers.
I knew. I mean, I was really close with Miss Lynch, Miss McLaughlin. I mean,
Yeah.
Miss
Oh yeah, Miss
Simmons.
McLaughlin. Yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot
Miss
about her.
McLaughlin was. Oh my gosh, she was like
Yeah.
a mom to me. It was so nice. But it's yeah, I agree. Like it's really because like for the econ course, the professor
Mhm.
had 900 students. So like
Yeah.
I actually went. So his name was Professor Parsons. Really, really funny dude. He's like super, super funny, really relatable. And I actually saw him on the way to another class that I had this semester.
Yeah.
And I said, "Hey, Professor Parsons," like just trying to make
Uh-huh.
conversation as he walked in the hall. And the dude had no idea who I was. And I was like, "Oh God, forgot that I'm not in high school again." And I
Yeah.
I sat in like the front row, like every day,
Oh,
like I
that
was right there.
sucks.
And he just sees so many students, and it's such
Yeah,
like
I'm
a
sure.
different relationship.
Um, but yeah, I know what you mean. It's like right now I have this like really cool English teacher, and it's like I'd like to get to know who he is because he seems like an awesome person. But like you can't make that like connection online through Zoom. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Um, yeah, especially whenever it's like Zoom format too. It's not like one on one. It's already hard enough to like connect with people
Yeah.
online, but whenever it's on Zoom, it's like you have 100 different people on here. You can't really tell what's going on. Like
Yeah.
there's just
I,
so
I'm
many faces.
I'm hoping it gets better when we get into like upper level courses because like there are some courses like 4500 level like they only have like 7 people. Okay, so like
Oh,
all right,
that's
well if there's
cool.
only 7 people
Yeah.
and I'm sure it's the same. I actually took a tour of Syracuse and
Uh
I
huh.
looked, I know all their programs and stuff. And so
Yeah.
like I'm sure like when hopefully as we get into like upper level courses and we have to start like doing research projects and stuff like that,
Yeah.
you get a lot closer with your professors. But yeah,
Hmm.
for some of the gen eds, like there's no way that you could ever like become friends with the
Yeah.
professor unless you're like a
No,
TA or
not at
something.
all.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. And
Um.
there's even some TAs that I know that just don't talk to the professors. Like they just grade
Yeah.
and then give them the work. And so I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. It's weird. Um. But yeah. So you've told me this a million times. What are you majoring in? I know it's.
So I have a double major.
Information systems.
So, well, I should change it. So I have a double
Okay.
major right now in business administration and comp sci.
Yep.
So
Okay. Yeah,
I'm doing
that's it.
both. Yeah. So I have to do like 18 credit hours for every semester, and then I've got to do like 2 online courses, and then
Nice.
I should graduate on time. But yeah,
Yeah.
I've got some pretty lengthy majors, so it's definitely not
Yeah.
your
That
typical
that's
business.
that's not that's not easy at all.
Yeah.
I mean,
What are you
comp sci
majoring in?
alone isn't
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
Mechanical engineering.
ME. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think I'm gonna, instead of a minor, I think I'm gonna get a technical degree in
Oh,
mechanical engineering.
what's that?
Basically, like instead of doing a minor, I can take 9 credits of like mechanical engineering electives.
Hmm.
And like they don't really have like automotive engineering, which is what I'd like to minor in.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna take like MAE technical electives that, so like that are that can be like applied to like cars and stuff. So I'll like make my own automotive engineering.
Yeah. Did you ever join
Like
the Syracuse
yeah,
bro?
the Formula SAE.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Yeah, it's cool. It's basically every year the Formula SAE team has to make and design and like from the ground up, like build a race car. Um,
Yeah.
and then after we like build it in CAD and uh, like get all the parts, build everything, like do all that. We go and like race it at a competition, and it has to pass all these different tests, and like it's graded on different criteria. So like there's like a fuel efficiency category, like how fast you can go in a figure eight, like, and then I think there's like a short sprint race at the end. I'm not entirely sure, but it's more about like designing and building a really like overall good car, not necessarily like all performance based, but like
Yeah, yeah.
overall.
Do you get
So
to
it's
like
cool.
use F1 like composites and stuff, or like is it like
Yeah.
how is the body work? Right.
What do you mean by the body?
Like, do you get to use composite material? Is it just like sheet metal that you have to cut and roll, or?
I'm not entirely sure. So we do get to use like carbon fiber and stuff like that. So we'll make a lot of stuff out of that. So
Yeah.
they split it up into like different teams. So like that's one of the teams that I'm on. So I'm on like the I guess it's like the body panel team. So
Yeah.
it's like I can't remember the exact name of it, but it's like we're the group that will like make and shape all of the carbon fiber stuff. And then I'm also on like the chassis team, so I'll be like, I learned how to weld last semester,
Oh, sick.
so I'll be able to like weld little things and brackets onto the chassis and
Yeah. Yeah.
do a bunch of stuff like that. So it'll be
Yeah.
cool. Yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah.
yeah.
I've always loved that
I'm
stuff.
excited.
I've gotten pretty um I don't want to say into Formula One, but it's definitely I don't
Yes,
know
I
I
love to hear that.
yeah,
Yes,
but it's so cool to like watch and
it's
stuff, and
so fun.
it's definitely it's really fun to just like even the engineering part. Like I
Yeah.
sometimes like the races are really cool, but what I
Uh
really
huh.
like is like the documentaries. I saw an F1 documentary on like Red Bull's racing design and like how
Yeah.
they actually go about building a car. And
Mm-hmm.
every time they crash one, it's like 4 million bucks like down the
Yeah,
drain.
it's
Like it's
crazy.
crazy how
Yeah.
much money goes into those cars, and it's just so cool. And the engine, like
Yeah.
like the Honda engines and the Mercedes, and like all of those build types are just
Mm-hmm.
so cool to look at and
Yeah.
see.
And it's really cool. Like for like this is just like a minor like innovation or whatever, but Mercedes like took like this old like do you know like the 18 wheelers?
Yeah,
Well, like apparently those are turbocharged, and they I think they like separate the turbo into like 2 different pieces. So you have the hot and cold side, right?
yeah.
And they split it into different areas inside the Mercedes engine so that they could better displace the heat.
Really?
Yeah, it's just like cool stuff like that. It's like they learned a different turbo design,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's being used in other things right now, which is really cool.
Yeah. No, that's all.
Um,
I really like
yeah.
MotoGP too. I don't know if you ever been to that.
I've watched little like clips of it. It's those guys are insane.
I know.
The drivers,
Dude,
or I
the
guess
amount of
riders.
yeah, I guess they're
Yeah.
writers. Yeah, the amount of balls that it takes to do that is just
Yeah,
so
those guys
crazy.
are insane.
Like there
Um,
was a clip that I saw the other day, and like I mean they were like so in their turns basically their tires are so sticky that they can basically get like parallel to the ground.
literally like flat,
Like yeah,
right?
they're like
Yeah.
almost floating on the ground basically on the edge of their tire. And there was a guy that got so close that he actually broke his hand because he was
Oh
on the edge
God.
of the throttle, and it just the whole
Oh
bike was just
jeez.
parallel on his hand. And I just was like, I could never do that. One, I couldn't react fast enough to like not die, and then
Yeah.
two, I would not be able to control like a 4,000 cc or whatever it is
No,
bike.
not at all.
Like I would
Have you
just
seen? Did they have videos where the like riders get speed wobble? Have you seen
oh
those?
yeah, and
They're
the
getting
thing
like
starts
completely
yeah.
thrown around, and somehow they like catch it,
Yeah,
and then they
there
just
was
like ride off, and it's completely fine. It's insane.
I was actually watching a MotoGP race the other day, and
Uh,
someone had fallen off of their bike and they slid on the ground, but
mhm.
like they were on their side sliding, and then
Oh,
they managed to get up and get on their feet and just start running, and then they just like walked away. Like it was
oh my
because
God, that's
their
crazy.
suits are made of like a nylon material or whatever, so
Okay.
they can basically slide like upon the ground. It hurts, but like it won't rip their suit. And so he just kept
Oh,
sliding and
that's
kept sliding
crazy.
and kept sliding, and then he eventually got up on his feet and just walked away. And I was like,
Yeah.
"What in the world, dude?"
Oh my God.
It,
That's insane.
it was scary. I could not have done it at all.
Yeah. Yeah. And those suits are really cool. The nylon.
Yeah, they're
Do you
expensive.
know why doesn't nylon rip? Do you know?
Well, it's the way
Like,
so like it's a composite material like
mhm.
with leather, and it's got nylon reinforcement in it and the way it's stitched, but it's
Oh,
basically
okay.
like once you get down to a certain level in the suit, it's basically just like a really hard acrylic plastic. And so
Oh,
it's like
okay.
yeah, so it's like a stretchable acrylic plastic that's underneath the nylon, and
Yeah.
it just acts as like a sled. Like if you were taking a sled and you
Oh,
were like sledding on snow, like it just
yeah.
acts like a glider.
Huh.
So yeah, it I know one of the suits costs. I mean, like I think each suit is like 10 grand or something like that, or
Oh my
some
God.
crazy price to
That's
replace.
insane.
Yeah,
Oh my
so
goodness.
but they're really cool, and the technology there has come a long way too.
Yeah.
It's the same idea with like flame retardant suits. So the suits that
Oh,
F1
okay.
people
So the
wear,
Formula One. Yeah.
yeah. So it's like that. They just have more like reinforcement to make it
Okay.
less friction, basically, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's super cool. But
Yeah. No, that's really cool.
yeah,
Um, and then actually, I want to go back to your computer science and business.
sure, yeah.
Um, yeah. Sorry, we're just jumping around.
No, yeah, you're good.
Okay, so you used to work for Textron, right?
I
Is that
still work for
that's
Textron.
the? Oh, you do. Okay.
Yeah.
How? Oh, wow. You have a lot on your plate.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm in 18 credit hours. I'm an RA. I'm in a fraternity, and I work 32-hour weeks. So yeah,
Jeez, man,
very busy.
that's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, what are what are some ways that you stay on top of that? Because that's a lot. Like, how do you keep track of everything you have to do like in a day?
I use Outlook mainly. So
Outlook.
the
Okay.
calendars. Yeah. So
Mhm.
I basically live my life by like a calendar, and
Okay.
it's sometimes it's like really unhealthy because like I will literally schedule like to the minute like things that I have to do, like
Yeah.
assignments, tests, stuff for work. If I have a presentation coming up that I need to do, like I'll block off a time to work on that. I'll block
Yeah.
off a time for social media. Like if I just want to scroll on TikTok for an hour, like I will literally put that on my calendar just so
Nice.
like I have time set aside.
No,
But
that's good. I mean, you got to have those moments every now and then.
yeah, I
Like,
mean,
you got to give yourself
definitely.
a break.
Yeah, and I'll like I started doing this thing because when I first started school, when I first started college, so I work full remote, so I basically work from my
Mhm.
laptop, and like I started going days without eating because I just
Oh
physically like
God.
didn't have time. Like I would just
Yeah.
be on a meeting from 7 a.m. in the morning, and then I wouldn't get
Uh-huh.
off till 4, and then
Yeah.
from 4 to like 7 I'd do all my schoolwork, and then by the time
Oh
that
my
came around
God.
I was just so. And so I started like blocking off time in my work and school schedule to
Yeah,
actually like
dude.
get up and go outside for an hour and
Yeah.
go somewhere and get something to eat. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely like outlook and scheduling out everything, like every
Mm-hmm.
little thing you could think of, because if you stick
Okay.
to a schedule, like that's it's it's so
Yeah.
nice to have all that organized. And then
Yeah.
there's an Apple widget too. So like one of the
Oh, really?
yeah, so there's an Apple
That's
widget
nice.
for Outlook. And basically
Yeah.
it'll show you like your upcoming tasks, like what you have to do for both of
Mm-hmm.
your calendars. So I have a school calendar and then I have a work
Mm-hmm.
calendar. So it shows both of those. I put everything like personal, like if I have schoolwork or need to go run an errand or something, I'll put it on my school calendar. And then
Yeah.
anything for work, I'll just block it off on my work calendar as well. But it,
Nice.
it's really nice for staying organized and keeping on top of
Yeah.
everything.
No, it sounds great.
Yeah.
And then how's the fraternity?
It's nice. It's different with COVID, that's for sure, but it's
Yeah.
like it's so nice having a big group of brothers like just
Yeah.
surround you. I know it like okay, so it sounds really cliche, right? Like
Yeah.
everyone
I'm not the biggest frat guy. Like
yeah,
I'm not
like
planning on rushing. I don't
yeah. So
I
and
don't
I'm
really
not even
care.
like you I mean you know me. I'm not like a huge frat dude.
No,
I'm
I
not like
was
a dude bro.
surprised.
Like yeah. Yeah, I'm not like the typical guy that's like, "Oh, like what's kicking, bro?" Like no. But like
Yeah.
it's just a lot of people that the fraternity that I'm in, like they're the same way. Like they're super
That's
like
cool.
receptive, and they're like really,
Yeah.
they're not your typical like I don't want to say Chads, but like everyone knows a
No,
Chad,
yeah,
right?
I think that's a very good way
Yeah.
to
And so
put
but it's so good having like a group of friends. Like that's all it is really.
yeah.
It's just like a massive group of friends. I think there's like
Yeah.
100 and like 15 people in
Oh
there.
my
So
God.
it's just so nice to have like a big group of friends. And I'll go over to the house
Jeez.
and
Yeah.
just hang out, and we're really really into college basketball right now. So like
Oh, cool.
everyone has their brackets filled out, and we sometimes
Nice.
put a bet on the game, or we'll go over and watch it. And Mizzou's actually ranked, I think it's 12th right now. I want to say it's 12th,
Uh-huh.
but um this is like the first time that we have been ranked in quite a yeah no we're number 10, we're number 10
Nice.
right now, and so we are so happy about that because
Yeah,
I'm
that's awesome.
a big football guy, or excuse me, basketball guy, football guy too,
Yeah.
but basketball, it's so nice to be ranked.
Yeah. I don't think Syracuse is doing too hot right now.
I don't know Syracuse basketball, so they
Yeah.
are, let me see, they're seventh in the, yeah, they're seventh in
Oh,
Atlantic
okay.
Coast. I don't know. They're not nationally
I don't
ranked.
know. I
Doesn't look
was
like.
oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, standings. Let me see.
Yeah, I think
Teams.
they took a couple big losses.
Yeah, so they're 5 for 5 in their conference right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and they're
Not
11
doing too
6
hot.
11 6 overall. I mean, it's
Yeah.
respectable. It's not as bad as
Yeah.
like some of the other guys, but
Yeah.
Mizzou is just on fire right now. I think we
Yeah.
are.
Didn't you guys have a good football season too?
We had an okay. We ended up
Yeah.
losing to, I think we lost to Bama, and then it kind of just went
Oh,
downhill.
yeah.
We did make it
I mean,
to the playoffs though. I do remember that. And then
yeah,
yeah,
that's
it
cool.
it was just kind of downhill from there. So
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to be like disappointed getting beat by Bama though.
yeah, dude,
Like,
they have so much money. I mean,
yeah,
the amount of money that
their
goes in.
program's insane.
Yeah, like literally the amount of money that goes into their program is like the equivalent to like our College of Business or something. Like it's like triple what our program is, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh my god. I mean,
Oh,
I think their head coach makes like 11 million or something, or like he has a contract for like
jeez.
8.6 million or something like that,
Oh my
and he's the
gosh.
highest paid coach in
Yeah.
all of college football, and it's like
Hmm.
goodness great. And I think our head coach makes like sub 1 million, like not a lot.
I
So
think TCU's coach, like Gary Patterson, can wait. Can you look something up?
Gary Patterson, yeah,
Yeah, look up how much he makes. I want to say it's
he makes 5.1 million.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
I
yeah,
thought it was up there.
I actually lied. Eli Drinkwitz, who's our head coach, makes like 4 million. But still,
Oh,
I think the
okay.
highest paid college football coach is, yeah. So yeah, it's actually not. It's actually Clemson with 9.3
Really?
million. Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
So Nick Saban is 8.5 million for Alabama. So he's second
Oh,
overall. And then the next is Michigan. So Jim Harbaugh.
nice.
And then
Yeah.
the first one is Dabo Swinney, I think, for Clemson. So
Huh.
Clemson is rolling in
Nice.
it. But
Yeah.
I was okay. So I don't know if do you follow like college football closely?
Not insanely
Yeah.
closely.
So LSU, oh my God, they struggled this season.
Yeah,
Um,
I think I heard about that.
yeah, so they really struggled, and when they played Mizzou, they had 5 drives. No, because there was a flag on the second play, but they had 5 drives, and they were at the 1 yard line, and this was going to
Mm.
be the winning point for LSU. They were going for the rush touchdown. They had 5 drives to get one
Oh,
yard of net gain. 1 yard, that's all they needed, and they were versing us, and they couldn't do it. We
oh my
literally
God.
we tackled their rusher
That's crazy.
5 times with 1 yard left, and it was like there had to be like 20 seconds left on the clock. So there was no way that they could get another chance. And I remember when that happened. I was actually at the Lake of the Ozarks at the time, and
Oh, nice.
everyone just went absolutely crazy in that
Yeah.
because
I'm sure
they
campus was insane.
yeah, it was downtown. People were
Yeah.
God. It was like a Mardi Gras. It was so crazy.
Yeah. That's
But yeah,
awesome.
LSU has not done very well
Yeah.
for this year after winning. Going all the way to the top and then kind of falling down. It was not very good. So
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't been following too many sports. Mainly just F1.
yeah.
Um,
Well, isn't
and
Syracuse
then
is pretty good at? Don't they have a good baseball team?
normally they have good basketball,
It's
but
normally
this
good
year it's
basketball.
not
Yeah.
great. Um,
I remember.
yeah.
I remember
And
when I
then
went.
football is like up and down. Like I've heard it's like every 3 years they have a decent team.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's got its ebb and flow, right? But
Yeah.
you know, I remember that I'm trying to see when I visited Syracuse, I saw okay, so we went into the dome, the
Yeah.
arena dome, and it's got like those airlocks.
Yeah, they just renovated it actually.
Did they actually? So is it still
Yeah.
like does it still have like the air that inflates the top?
I think it still does. Actually, yeah, I think so. I'll have to look into that because I didn't think about that.
It was
But
so
it's not
cool
called
though.
the Carrier Dome anymore.
Oh,
Carrier
really?
isn't the sponsor anymore. Yeah, it's just the dome now. Um,
Syracuse Dome.
yeah,
Oh yeah, it is just called the Syracuse Dome. Huh.
yeah.
That's weird.
It's cool though. Are you seeing like the new pictures of it where it has like the tracks going along
Yeah,
the?
what are those? What
I
in the
think they're just like
world?
support beams. They're really cool though. Here, let me see if I can pull up a picture.
Wow, those are cool.
Um,
They look like it looks like a roller coaster ride. That's
yeah,
going
it's
around the dome.
cool. Um,
So
yeah,
are they attached to the Huh. Weird.
yeah, it is weird.
Oh yeah, so they are oh yeah,
Um,
so the support
but
beams
yeah,
basically
so it's the
they
Syracuse Dome.
they hold up the support. Yeah, I see. If you scroll
Yeah,
down a little bit,
so
there's a
like
rendering.
where?
Scroll
Oh
down.
yeah, right here.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty much and then it
Yeah,
ties to it. 118
that's
million.
really cool.
God damn.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But yeah,
I
it's
just love
cool.
Syracuse color. That's the main thing.
Yeah, dude,
That
the
that
orange and blue
orange
are great.
orange is so
Yeah,
nice.
they
Such a good orange.
they just redid the student center too, which is really cool.
Really?
Yeah. So do you remember the building that had the orange tree in it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that was the student center. They just redid it. They put like a big food court in there, like a bunch of study spaces. It's awesome.
What kind of
It's
restaurants
really
you guys
cool.
have there?
Um, so on campus, it's all like knockoff chain restaurants.
Oh God.
So they have like a
Mickey
tomato
D's.
wheel, which is like knockoff Pizza Hut. The only like chain we have is Dunkin', like Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh really?
Yeah.
You guys don't
Um,
have a Starbucks?
okay, we do have Starbucks, but it's like right off campus.
Oh, okay, so it's not really on.
Um,
Mm.
yeah, or actually, yeah, but you can use like your meal dollars or whatever there, your dining
Yeah,
dollars there.
yeah, yeah,
So it's like kind of through the school. And then like on the other side of campus, there's like a Chipotle. There's like a whole row of stuff,
yeah,
just like cool food. Like there's like a halal place. There's a yeah,
yeah. We have a we have
it's
a
nice.
we have okay, so we have two on-campus Starbucks. Like
Hmm.
Mizzou actually like licenses out the store and they own it.
Yeah,
So they
that's
like
cool.
you can take like your dining dollars there. We've got one Starbucks that's like right off campus. It's by the J school. And
Nice.
then there's also I think there's also so there's a Domino's right there, there's a Chipotle right there.
Hmm.
Um, my one complaint is, man, like we have a Chick-fil-A, but it is
Yeah.
all the way like by the mall, and so like you have to get in a
Oh,
car, and they don't deliver to campus. Like
yeah.
we have a
Same here.
petition. We have a petition to actually put like a Chick-fil-A on the campus, like in Mizzou, just because it's so hard to get Chick-fil-A. Like that's probably the biggest thing, and it's like, oh, so
Yeah.
annoying. But
Speaking of petitions, my buddy, so I live on what they call the Mount.
mhm,
So there are two like dorm halls or residence halls at the top of the Mount.
yeah.
So I'm up on this like giant hill, and there's this set of stairs that you have to walk up. It's like 100 stairs or something like that.
Oh wow.
So it's like way up there.
Yeah.
Um, so one of my friends made a petition to put a ski lift that goes up the mount and then down into campus, and he like put it up in the elevator and stuff. It was so funny.
That's funny. Do they have? Is it like wheelchair accessible? Like, can people?
No, I mean like
Wow.
okay, there is a road that goes up,
Oh, okay.
but it's steep hill.
Man.
Like I don't like. I'll ride my electric board up it, but my
Yeah.
electric board like it's like struggling a little
Yeah. Do you have
bit.
a
like
boosted board?
so Boosted went out of business.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to get a
Yeah,
board before they did though, but yeah,
yeah.
they did end up
So
going out.
I got a different brand. So there's this like Brooklyn skate company called Bustin, and I used to get their other boards. And so they came out with an electric version. So I got like the hybrid Yo Face.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the board's like the Bustin Yo Face,
Busted.
like a slight pun.
Oh,
It's
okay.
stupid.
I get it. I
Yeah.
get it now. Went over my head. No.
Yeah.
I got to I
Yeah.
rode a boosted board and they were really nice, but I
Yeah,
never
they
had
are.
the $1,000 to cough up and get the base
No,
model.
mine wasn't that much.
How much was yours?
Mine was around half that, I think.
Really? I know when boosted
Yeah,
first came out, it was like $900 for their base model.
yeah.
I was like,
It
"Ooh,
got
okay."
crazy though. They were selling boards for like 1,400, like
Yeah, yeah.
just way too
They
much
had really
money.
good they had really good support though. Like if your motor
Yeah,
went
they
out,
did.
you could send it in and they would give you a new motor and then they would redo
Hmm.
the rubber like tread thing that would actually drive the
Yeah,
tires. Like they would
because that
replace
one was
those.
belt driven, right?
Yeah, it was belt
That
driven.
was a belt driven motor. Mine
Yeah.
is brushless motors, which is
Oh,
cool.
really?
Yeah, so it's two brushless motors on the back.
That's nice. Yeah.
Um,
The belt
yeah,
ones like they broke pretty easy, so I guess that's why
yeah.
they had to replace them, but
I'm sure they stretch too after a while. Just get like a
y-
loose
yeah,
fitting. Yeah.
you'd have to replace them like I think every 6 months or so, and
Oh, jeez.
yeah.
Yeah.
But this is a cool. I mean, it kind of boosted really paved the way. It kind of started a whole new
Yeah.
brand. But
And like they were quality too, because they would get like the decks for those boards. They would get them from a company called Loaded.
oh, really?
So like the board that I used to skate, it was a Loaded Tesseract, which is like one of the top boards. Like Loaded's one of the best brands that you can buy. Like
Yeah,
if you're gonna
yeah,
buy a longboard, so they were getting like really nice decks
yeah.
over at Boosted.
That's nice.
So
Yeah,
I'm surprised they went out of business though.
yeah. Well, probably because no one wanted to buy a $1,000 board anymore.
Yeah, I
Probably the
guess
main
that's
thing.
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never. I've had one electric board, but it was like a cheap
Mm.
Chinese like
Oh
knockoff thing,
yeah.
so it broke like within like a month of me owning it, and so I was like, okay.
Oh jeez.
I really
Yeah,
thought
that
the next big
sucks.
thing was gonna be hoverboards. Like I thought people were gonna start
Dude,
using.
those
Well,
things
they
were
kind of
so
have.
dumb.
Oh my god, have you seen the board with like the big ass tire in the
Yeah, the
middle?
one wheel. It's
The
a
one
one
wheel,
wheel.
bro.
Dude, those
So
things are
many
like twelve
people.
hundred bucks though.
Are they really?
Yeah, it's
Dude,
another one of those like ridiculously expensive things.
so many people at Mizzou have them. It's so we make fun of them honestly because they look
You
dumb.
should.
Like
They
they
look
look really dumb, but
dumb.
it's so fun. I mean, like they're all terrain. Like you can go like
Yeah, you
mudding with it.
can.
It's like, oh my
Yeah.
god, because all of the stuff is internal. Like it's inside the tire,
Hmm.
so like you could. It's cool. It's pretty weather resistant, but
Yeah. I wonder how it do in the snow.
you'd probably eat shit. Honestly,
Yeah.
it gets so like it'll snow for a day and then the snow will melt and so all of it will
Mhm.
freeze and then there's like 6 inches on top
Oh,
of that. So like even
yeah.
if even if like you clear the snow, you physically have to like break the ice off the sidewalk just because it
Yeah.
froze over. So yeah, they do
Yeah.
they salt so hard up here though.
Same here.
And it just
Dude, they
put
have
like
this little cat thing that goes around, just
yeah
scrapes up all the stuff, like
yeah
ices it or salts it.
they have this
Yeah,
big
it's
like
crazy.
they have this big so we have double lane roads like go through
Hmm.
campus and they go through with like this like literal dump truck and it's got like salt cannons on it and
Oh
so it
my
and it
gosh.
just sprays like literally projectile spray salt
Jeez.
everywhere and it like if you have like a bike or something out there like it gets all over your bike and it like
Oh,
rusts the
that
metal.
sucks.
Yeah, so my grandfather gave me like this really nice like sports bike like a titanium bike like really nice and I
Yeah.
went out there one day and like the tire is just like rusted through because of the amount of
Oh,
salt that
that
they put on.
sucks.
I know. I was like, Jesus, yeah. So
Yeah.
definitely don't put your valuables outside.
No. How do you use your bike a lot?
I
Like
did
on
last
campus?
semester just
Yeah.
because I had a so I'm kind of far away from downtown. Like I'm one of the
Hmm.
farthest dorms away from downtown.
Yeah. I mean,
So
same here. I'm on
yeah,
like the complete opposite
yeah.
side.
And I had a class in the Missouri Theater, which is like basically the heart of downtown. There's just big theater that Mizzou
Oh,
bought out.
jeez. Yeah.
So that was that in-person class, the econ class. So I
Hmm.
had to ride my bike from here to there every other day.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't really use it. I think because mainly now it's just winter, and so they have a ton of trails and stuff over here, and so I
Hmm.
really want to go trail biking. Like
Yeah, that'd be
they've got
cool.
Katie's Trail and stuff like that. But
Nice.
it's just so cold that I haven't had a chance to get out
Yeah.
there. So, but
Yeah.
yeah.
How do you like the cold? Because I'm assuming it's colder there than it is in Texas.
Oh yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to live in Virginia, so I've had
Yeah.
like well,
Oh yeah.
I spent summers in Virginia, I should say.
Oh.
And then I would go there for winters occasionally, like Christmas and stuff. And
Hmm.
so, I mean, it would get
Yeah.
like negative like 6 and then have like 12 inches of snow. So, I mean, it's fine. It has its ups and downs. I started wearing thermals, which is nice.
Oh, cool.
Like compression pants, and then I
Yeah.
put jeans over it, and that's a lifesaver. That has
Is
completely
it?
changed the game so much. Yeah. So, but that's the main thing I use. It's just thermals,
Yeah.
and it's not too
I'll
bad.
I'll have to look into that because I've just been wearing jeans and it's
It's
like
it's
it's
cold.
starting to get to the point where it like goes through the jeans and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not fun.
Did you hear about
Yeah.
that like 130 car pileup in
Yeah.
Texas? You know, my parents
Dude,
actually
that's
saw
so
it.
sad. Did they?
Yeah. So you know how they're backed
Oh
up
my
to a highway?
God. Yeah.
It was like right there. Like it was like they
Oh,
literally had like
jeez.
front pictures of it. It was crazy. I mean, like
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw a video of when the semi like there was a semi truck that
Yeah.
plowed into a
Did you see
car.
it on the full send
Yeah,
Instagram
I
account?
was like, oh my god, dude,
Yeah, dude, that was
crazy.
insane. Like
Yeah,
so sad.
and it's funny too because like it didn't even snow, did it? Like it just
It
froze.
iced,
Yeah, just iced
but no
over.
one in Texas knows how to deal with ice.
Yeah,
And
and
it's like
they can't do they can't salt or shovel either
we don't
because
have salt.
yeah
Like we don't have salt trucks. What do you remember like fifth grade? We got like 5 days off of school.
yeah
Because it iced so bad.
yeah the
That's
ice is
because we had to
terrible.
call in salt trucks from Oklahoma because
Oh
we didn't have
really?
any in Texas. So we had to have these like salt trucks drive all the way down from
Yeah.
Oklahoma.
I mean,
That's
it
to solve
really
all the roads down
it's
here.
like once every like 5 years that
Yeah,
happens. So I
yeah.
really don't think they can justify like buying that many salt trucks.
No.
But it still sucks that every time it gets like below freezing and then all like suddenly all of the water is like gone from all the stores, or like
Yeah.
it'll snow for like 2 minutes and then like all of the produce has been cleared from the shelves. It's like, okay guys, calm down, you're not gonna
Yeah,
die.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's funny though.
it is funny.
Um,
Not the car pilot.
it's like a mini.
That's not
No,
funny,
no,
but
not that.
not that one.
Just Texans trying to deal with the snow.
Yeah. And then
Um,
people will go out and like buy massive snow shovels that they're gonna use
yeah.
like once every like millennium or something.
Dude, I bought a sled when I was a kid. I
Yeah.
used it
Good
like
luck using it.
twice.
Yeah, you're gonna sled down some rocky hills. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those snow days were awesome though. You would get
They
like
were nice. Yeah.
recycling bin loads.
I remember the first time I used a snow angel.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Do you know if you can lock this door?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Sorry.
Wait, can I have a seat? Sorry.
Oh yeah.
You could like put, sorry. You could like put
All right. Someone just walked in the room I'm in.
Okay. What did she want?
She wanted to know if there was a lock on the door, or if there was like this door locked. And
Okay. Well,
I don't know, but yeah, first episode we're gonna run into some problems.
some random
So-
random girl coming in. Good lord. Do you have a roommate for your dorm?
No, this isn't my dorm.
Oh, where are you at?
I'm in like a little study room.
In the student center?
It's like a prayer room in my dorm hall, but no one really uses it. So people use it to study, like if they need like a private space. So
Yeah.
I came in here to do it because like there's no white noise, like there's nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we've got study rooms at the end of our hallways. So
Yeah,
That's
we do too. And,
Yeah.
Like on the floors above me.
yeah, the floors.
Yeah. How many floors is your home?
There's 7, so we have
Okay.
7 floors. Yeah.
Yeah, mine's 8.
Oh yeah. And
Yeah.
we've got 7 floors, and then we have
Mhm.
like 3 hallways that stem out from each floor. So you get off the
Oh,
elevator
cool.
and you can either go left, straight, or right. And there's
Uh-huh.
like, I think you can fit 30. So there's 2 to 15 rooms in a hallway,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Nice.
15 times 3, and then
Yeah.
times 7. So you can fit a lot of people in here. It's a pretty big dorm.
Yeah, same here. Mine's more like a T shape. So it's like the elevators are at the top of the T, and it's like you walk down and you can go. Like I live on this side, but this wing's
Yeah.
like way shorter than like over here this way.
Yeah.
Like this way's super long, but at the end you have study room. So-
Yeah. Yeah, we've got a study room on each floor, but it's only on like one of the hallways, so it's not
Oh,
on
cool.
all of them basically. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have these like cool chairs where like a desk like comes out and you're in like your own like little pod thing. It's really cool.
oh, we have
Um,
I think we have those in our law school actually. I think
Really?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. So we've got
Yeah.
the law school has like a really nice library, and they've got
Mhm.
like this big open floor with a bunch of desks, and you can like fold up this panel that pulls out of the desk, and then
Uh-huh.
it'll basically like fold up and make like a something around you, and so you only can
Oh,
look at what's at your
cool.
table. It's actually
Yeah.
really really nice, and it's always packed like around midterms and finals.
Yeah.
Like there's so many people there.
Yeah. How were your finals last semester?
They were super easy. I don't think I struggled even like a little bit. So.
Yeah, same here. I don't know if that's like, is that common for like
I think
the
it's part
first
of just
semester?
online school, first of all.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, that's
and
true.
then the curriculum is not as like intensive, I think. And then,
Yeah.
I mean, I had one gen ed, and then the rest were like super level entry classes. I
Yeah.
think the hardest course was comp sci, but then again,
Mhm.
I already know a lot about comp sci, so I don't
Yeah.
really, I'm already kind of ahead of the game there. So
Mhm.
like half the times I don't even like read the lectures. I just go straight to the
Yeah.
challenge and then complete it. So.
Because was what you did at Textron Comp Sci?
Yeah, so I did a lot of software programming, and that's pretty much what
Okay.
comp sci is. It's just like arrays and variable handling and exception handling and stuff like that. And so I mean, it's all
Oh.
pretty rudimentary. I think yesterday I wrote a program to calculate the volume of a cylinder, and then
Okay.
yeah, so it's like not
Yeah. So
intensive at
nothing
all.
insane.
Yeah, no. I mean, when you
Um,
get to upper level, then that's kind of where
yeah.
you get really intense, but
Yeah.
nothing
'Cause-
too crazy.
Yeah. I took a couple of those classes in high school because, like, I took like the intro to computer science and then
Oh yeah, yeah. I
AP
never.
comp sci.
I don't. You did AP
Um,
Comp Sci?
I did it for a semester.
Yeah, I couldn't. I
But the
probably couldn't do
teacher
it.
and I did not get along, so
Yeah,
I
I don't think I knew enough then to actually be
not
able to
like
do
that
it,
class.
because I only really started getting heavily into like programming for my
Yeah.
senior in that summer. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you do at Textron if it wasn't coding? Is it more like network stuff?
I do a lot of project management. That's pretty
Oh,
much what
okay.
my role is now. So like for the thing I'm working on currently, like we've got to take. Do you know about Microsoft Teams, right?
Yeah.
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 So
It opens every time I turn my computer on.
yeah, yeah. So we've got like 35,000 users who are still on Skype, and so the current
Mhm.
project that I'm working on is getting those guys over from Skype to Teams.
Oh, cool.
So that's just an example of something that I'd work on. But
So how would you go about doing something like that? Like,
you just prepare communications and make a game plan and
Mhm.
get after it. But I mean, you've got to go through like get all your approvals through the councils and all of the change controls and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But other than that, I mean, you just make a plan, draft up some communications, and cross your heart and close your eyes and hope you don't crash. So
yeah.
pretty
And
much where
then-
project management goes.
Because are you having to make new accounts for everyone?
No. You just, I mean, because they're already using Skype, right? And Skype
Mhm.
Skype is no longer going to be supported in July, or Skype on-prem, anyways.
Oh,
So we basically got to transfer them over from, transfer their Skype account and just put them in Teams only mode, and it'll automatically transfer them onto
okay.
Teams. Yeah. So
Okay.
Microsoft, they've got a bunch of dashboards and controls to
Mhm.
take care of it, but we just
Oh, okay.
we've got to.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how all that like behind the scenes stuff
Yeah. No, it's
worked. 'Cause, like,
just a lot of communication mainly is the main thing.
yeah, nice. Yeah, that's cool. Has that helped like in college, like having that experience at Textron?
Yeah. I mean, it helps a lot for the comp sci courses, right? Because
Yeah.
I already know like a ton of the stuff, and then I'm taking some project management courses, but I won't do that until like sophomore or junior year. So,
Nice.
I mean, I'm pretty like I offered Textron, when I graduated high school, I was like, hey, I feel that I possess the top, like the enough skills to adequately complete the job, and like,
Yeah.
will you just give me a job? And they were basically like, no, we want you to go to college, and I was like, well,
Yeah.
dang it. So, but yeah,
Yeah, that's cool though. Like,
Yeah.
that's like a really big thing to like have on your resume. Like,
yeah, I think
yeah.
the experience alone, like there's the life experience and maturing, and
Yeah.
like working in a corporate office, it is so different. Like it is.
Oh, I'm sure.
And there's so many people that like are older, and like you have to act a certain way, and there's certain
Yeah.
etiquette you have to learn, and so it's just a completely
Yeah.
different atmosphere.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
And then, what do you plan on doing with your like comp sci and business? Like,
So I wanna be-
What's your like end goal that you have in mind right now?
Well, I'd love to be a CEO, honestly. I mean, I know that's the cliche answer, but it'd be really cool. I love, like, my dad started his own company when he was like 16, and he's grown it into like a multi-million-dollar, company that he
Yeah.
basically built from the ground up, right? So
Mhm.
I'd love to get into like more upper level management. Like that's why I like being a project
Yeah.
manager. It's just because there's so many things that you can control, right? You're in control of.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'd really like to go into risk management and kind of identifying like bigger business plans and enacting those business plans, right? So executing
Yeah.
those. But that's really where I'd like to be, when I graduate and get some more years under my belt.
Nice. Yeah. Is there like any certain industry you want to do that in, or is it
Probably
just a
aerospace.
CEO of anything?
Well, aerospace and defense mainly. I really like
Okay.
those types of companies. So like, Lockheed, Boeing, Sikorsky, stuff like that.
Okay.
You know,
So
defense
all like the
contracting.
private ones.
Yeah, private. I probably
Yeah.
wouldn't ever really want to go public. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I take that back.
Or
I mean,
like,
Textron is the public company, but and so
yeah.
so are all of those, but like more focused.
Hey, what's up? Thank you. Yeah, all good. Appreciate it. My friend brought my bag in.
Oh, I was like,
Different
did she
room.
come back? Asked if there was another
No,
lock.
I thought it was gonna be the same person, but it wasn't. But yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good goal. I mean,
Yeah. I just want to
Let's
do
get that in
something
mind.
really impactful, and I want to that's pretty much the biggest thing is I want to. I mean, I know that I'm capable of it. Like I know that I possess the skills deep down, but I just got to keep working
Yeah.
at it, and ultimately I get there. You know.
yeah. So like, whenever you say you want to be impactful, like, what kind of impact do you want to have, and on what?
I want like something to be my own, you know. Like I
Uh-huh.
want to be able to look at something or a business plan or process and basically say, hey, you know, I built this. This was my invention.
Nice.
Just mainly, you know, leave a legacy to something that, you know, this was constructed by me, and you know, just having that impact, right? Just having that change on a company or workplace, or you know, whether I go off and start my own company or I'm working for the same one that I had been, just leaving a lasting impact is really the biggest kind of goal there, right?
Nice. Yeah. I don't think you can ask for much more. Yeah. And then where do you see yourself in the next like 5 years?
In the next
What you
5
got
years,
going on?
probably gonna move back to Texas, and
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna. Yeah, I love Texas so much. I mean, it's a nice.
I've started to appreciate it more now that I've gone away.
There's just so much like business and stuff, and real estate, and all of like, you know, you can get a house for like pennies basically. I mean, like if you look at New York pricing versus Texas pricing, it's like goodness gracious.
It's insane.
So, yeah. But I really like to get into, you know, just go back and maybe work for Textron, or a big dream of mine is to work for Microsoft and, you know, possibly go into them. And so just, you know, I don't really know yet. I guess this is the best answer. I'm just kind of figuring it out. I actually had a meeting with the career services we have here today, and you know, and I asked like, what is the most that I could get out of the internship I have now, right? Like, where can I go from here? So just kind of going with the flow, seeing where life takes me. So.
No, I think that's great.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I got.
Sure.
We're coming up on like, I think, an hour and a half now.
I think it was an hour and a half. Well, we started a little late,
it's been so probably like hour 20, I think.
That was pretty
good. Yeah, that was a good conversation. I think that was solid.
Yeah.
Well, all right. I'm going to end recording now. Thank you for everyone who listened. Come back for more. Austin, do you have any last words?
Never give up. Those are my last words.
Wonderful. That's
never
perfect.
Give up. There you go.
Yep. Well, all right.